Hey guys, welcome to Tarantula Tea. My name's Rosanna, and today's video we're going to be meeting the tarantulas. Well, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Rosanna and this is Tarantula Tea. Basically, I thought it would be great to make our second video about the tarantulas that are currently in my collection. Now, I did get a question from one of my viewers. His name is Cooper. Hey, Cooper. And he asked how many tarantulas I own. And Cooper, I own 32. Yeah, it's grown significantly. But without further ado, let's get to meeting the tarantulas. Now, disclaimer, I will say not all of the tarantulas cooperated, not all of them are on display, but I did get quite a bit of content for you, and the ones that showed their face, awesome, and the ones they didn't, it just shows you the good reality of keeping tarantulas. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get to it. So the first tarantula that I have here is in this corner right here. Hopefully you guys can see him. So he is the smaller of the two that I have of this species. And I'm gonna show you his little tag that has his information on it. So I decorated and made this little tag for him or her. We have a female sign next to the name because we did look at the underside and kind of guessed that this one is a female. So let me grab the one that is the bigger version. So this is the bigger version of the one that you just saw. Pretty good size for a tarantula. And the species is Brachypelma albiceps is the scientific name. The common name is a Mexican golden red rump. Now these guys are terrestrial and their defense is to kick hares. This one is a notorious hair kicker. Anytime that I'm feeding, anytime that I'm moving, this one, normally they are considered a docile or sweet tarantula, but this one has some attitude. So that just goes to show you that even though you might be getting a docile or sweet species of tarantula, that's not always the case, and you should always be very, very careful. Eradicating hares, which you've probably not heard that term if you're not familiar with tarantulas, they can range from being on the abdomen, which is that fuzzy red part of the tarantula, or some tarantula species actually have eradicating hairs on different places for different ways to defend themselves. So I've already gone into a lot of depth on this tarantula. This one is also a terrestrial tarantula. Terrestrial means that they are ground dwelling. They do not climb. They don't do well with height. So your enclosure for a terrestrial species needs to be longer than it is tall. And the more dirt, the better. You're going to hear a running joke in the tarantula world, more substrate. So that's my two Brachypelma albiceps that I have. Let's move on to the next species. Okay, so changing it up from our terrestrial species, I want to kind of show you the difference in enclosure for what we call an arboreal species. Now, these are my two pink toe arboreal setups. Arboreal meaning tree dwelling, climbing, height over width. So you have your two pink toes. As you can see, they made their homes up here with some webbing. They have some cork bark to replicate what they would enjoy. And this one is hiding pretty well. It might be in the cork bark. You can't really see it. Yeah, that might be the tarantula. And then the other one is possibly going to make an appearance if I don't scare her. And we do think these two are females. These are not confirmed either. Oh, hey girl. So there's her little bum. Can't see a lot. This is a pink toe. I don't know if you can tell or not, but there is some pink on the tips of their toes. If you want to Google what these guys are, if you're interested in pink toe tarantulas, their scientific name is avicularia. And they are also called Guyana pink toes. I named mine Slippers and Tiptoe. So Tiptoe's the bigger one. She's the one who's showing her little booty up at the top there. She has a really cool enclosure. I like her tree here. And then Tiptoe, Slippers is my smaller one. And we're not making an appearance right now. On the same realm of arboreal, we have an arboreal sling, which means spiderling enclosure. And this is my Amazon sapphire pink toe, much smaller. And as you can see, we have some height and some cork bark, but we don't have as much substrate as we would want for a terrestrial species. And the reason being, we don't need that. We want the height over the width. All right, those of us that are native to Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri, and potentially some other states that I would have to look into, this is your native species tarantula. This is the Texas tan, Missouri brown. It has all kinds of different common names, but its scientific name is Aphonopelma hinsii. And this is a small one. Confirmed female. I got it from a breeder who checked its molt and confirmed that this is a small female. Now these guys are extremely slow growers. To get to this size, it's several years old. The females, of course, can live way longer than the males, so I'm really excited to have this cutie pie grow up with me. Now let's see what they look like a little bit bigger. So this is another species that they claim is very docile, and as you can see, this one is in what's called a threat pose. She's looking big, she's looking bad, she is ready to bite whatever puts in front of her. She ate yesterday, she is gorgeous, but she is full of sass. So, as far as handling goes, even though people say that these are a docile tarantula, you kind of have to catch them in a quote-unquote good mood. That's why I don't handle tarantulas. There are few and far between times that I've ever had a tarantula on my hand, and this one is definitely showing me that is the last thing she wants. So, she is gorgeous, and we will respect her, and you can kind of tell she's a much bigger size than the other one. Look at that cute little fuzzy brown booty. But yeah, this is my female that is a good size, and I do have a male. Now my male is a mature male, and he is small and scraggly looking, and we will get into that once I show you guys what he looks like. All right, so this is my male Texas tan. He is much slimmer than my lady, and he is darker too. He's a very handsome tarantula. His booty is bald, and that does happen as mature males. They have kicked hairs off of their abdomen, and one thing that mature males will do is they will start slowing down as far as eating goes, because they only have one thing on the brain, and that is they need to find a female. That is why the male tarantulas do not live as long as the females, because once they hit maturity, their main goal in life is to find that female and make baby tarantulas. So he will slowly wither away. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. He's looking good for right now. And I will keep offering him food to see if we can have some longevity. But he is just gorgeous. He is a golden brown, and much, much more black on him than the female. The female is a lot lighter brown color. It's kind of cool to see the differences of these two. So that's my male. As you can tell, I love this species. I have 3 of them, and they are just really cool, and it's awesome to know that these are the ones walking around in Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Okay, moving on to this gorgeous suspected female. This is the Aphonopelma chalcodes, aka the Arizona blonde tarantula. We suspect she is female. It is not necessarily confirmed. It is just a hunch. Whenever she decides to molt, we will be able to tell, of course. She unfortunately is assumed to be wild caught. So wild caught, not always great. Once again, this species is a very slow grower, so to have a tarantula this size, she is several years old, and I will show you what a small Arizona blonde Aphonopelma chalcodes looks like. Alright, so as luck would have it, my little Arizona blonde sling decided to go right into its little hole right there as soon as we got our cup out. Usually this one's out and about on display, but here is the reality of sometimes what tarantula owning looks like. It's a nice jar of dirt, and they don't always cooperate. They are an animal that prefers to hide whenever there is movement or vibration. They are, you know, running off of survival skills. And if you're out in the open, that gets predators the advantage. So digging into the ground and hiding is always a good plan. Sorry I'm spending so much time filming a box of dirt, but like I said, sometimes that's what owning tarantulas is all about, a fancy jar of dirt. Now moving on to one of my favorite species of tarantulas. I own 3 of these now. This is a Grammostola pulchripes. This is another one of those species of tarantulas that people say are very docile, very unlikely to kick hairs or throw a threat pose. And I have actually seen that to be a little more true with this one. Once again, handling is not something that I really encourage, but this is one that if it were to climb on my hand during rehoming or accidental like handling session, I wouldn't be too worried about. Granted, there's going to be a video on how the best way to rehome and deal with a tarantula whenever you are rehousing or feeding. We will definitely get there and go over that. But isn't this one such a cutie pie? We are getting all the attention right now. You are just such a star. So I will show you next up the same species, just a bigger size once again. All right, so this is my bigger female Grammostola pulchripes. She is such a cutie pie. She's a really good eater. She's very fun to watch. She has a much bigger enclosure than the other one. And as you can see, this species is just kind of social, like out and about. They are not quick to run into their burrow and hide. They definitely are not afraid to be on display. And she's just super duper cute. And I love this species so much. They're very fun. She's gonna give you a little bit of movement and show, hey girl, what you doing? But yeah, I really like this species. Grammostola is the species that I have a few of. So we'll stay in the Grammostola family and I'll see if we can see the other ones that I have. Okay, so we're gonna go creeper mode and see what we can see in this hole down here. This is one of my Grammostola pulchras, and you can see who's hiding in its little burrow right there. These are commonly known as the Brazilian black tarantula, known as the black labs of the tarantula family, and they are known to be extremely sweet when they are adults. Beautiful velvety black, and this one right here is trying to hide away. So you guys got a really cute little peek at what looks like a tarantula hobbit hole. Yeah, I love this species. I can't wait for mine to grow big and be super velvety black. But for now, we are really enjoying having a little spiderling. See that eye glow right there? Very cool. I have the flash on. They are nocturnal, so obviously the light is not the most appealing thing to them. But I just love them. They're so interesting. And the view that I have on this little spiderling is just perfect. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes they're under the dirt and you don't ever get to see them. So this right here is a green bottle blue. Not sure if it's male or female. The scientific name for this beautiful spider is the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens. Green bottle blue is the common name. Not many things are confused for the green bottle blue. You kind of know what we're talking about whenever you say that. They are a heavy Weber, as you can see. So she or he has done some beautiful artwork in the enclosure, and they are interesting. There's some fungus that I have no idea what that is. But they are semi-arboreal. So that does not mean that they need a high enclosure. That just means that right now what this tarantula is displaying is what semi-arboreal is. They like to be above the ground, but they are definitely not meant to be in the treetops. But as you can see, this beautiful fluorescent color whenever that flash hits them. it's not showing the full effect because of that webbing and glass that's interfering. But these are just stunning, highly, highly popular tarantula, and they're pretty available. So if this is one that appeals to you, I highly recommend them. They are not a species that I consider docile. They eat anything I throw at them. So just keeping that in mind. They're a little faster than your brachypelmas and the grammostolas. So they have speed, but they are gorgeous, stunning, fun spiders to have. Okay, so we are just getting a butt shot of one of the more common species of tarantulas that you will be able to find, and it's very popular for good reason. They are a very cool tarantula, commonly named the curly hair. The scientific name is Tillatocatl albopilosus, excuse me. I have 3 of these, and they are very prone to hiding whenever you are feeding or moving, and they also can definitely kick hairs. They are probably one of my spiciest tarantulas as far as hair kicking goes. One of them is named Kix for good reason. As you see below right here, that is a mixture of webbing and potentially those urticating hairs that are on the bum back there. They get their name curly hair from obviously how long and floofy the hair is on their legs. They look like they've had a interesting hair day. But they're very common. You can definitely find you a curly hair pretty easily and very affordable. So starter tarantula, yes, but also you want to be aware that they are hair kickers. They can be very sassy, and that doesn't, apply to every single tarantula. Some are very docile, and mine just don't happen to be docile. So we are actually getting lucky, and we are going to get somewhat of a, if this will focus, quote-unquote good view of one of my old world tarantula species. This is a P. metallica, or the Goody sapphire tarantula, and it is a sling. It is a baby. As it ages, it will get more electric blue. This is definitely one of the more popular old world species, and we haven't really gone over what that even means, but it means that they have more potent venom and they are fast. One thing that these guys do not have, that we have talked a little bit about, are urticating hairs. Definitely not recommended to handle. You will see people handle all species of tarantulas, but definitely don't advise this one. Any type of tarantula from the old world family has venom that will pack a punch, and you just do not want to be in the way of that. Okay, so hiding back here is one of the coolest tarantulas that I ever laid eyes on. When I saw this guy, I knew I had to have it. This is commonly known as the Guatemalan tiger rump tarantula, or the scientific name is, let me reference this so I don't mess it up, hold on, the Davis pentiloris. And they are orange and black like a tiger. All right, a fan favorite is the Mexican red knee, common name. Brachypelma homori is the scientific name. This is a very fun species to keep. As you can see, not much of a hider. We have kind of a bald booty going on. Potentially due some stress from where it was before I got it. I made its enclosure pretty fun. There's some decorations in here that are Mexico themed. But this is a beautiful spider species. I love the reds. Definitely common to find, kind of like the curly hair. You can find these for a good price point. And they're just a really cool species of spider. We are very lucky because this stunning spider is out right now. This is another one of my old world tarantulas that I have, and it is just a beautiful color, blue and gold. So the common name for this is the golden blue-legged baboon. As you can see why it has that name. And then the scientific name is the Harpactrica pulchripes. I completely butchered that. Science, don't come for me. Commonly, we skip the whole H part and we just call it the H pulchripes. Which can get confusing because I also have a Grammostola pulchripes. So that was fun to learn the difference on. As you can see, we are a heavy webber. We've webbed up our enclosure and we have this fun hole. This is a fossorial species, which means they like to be in the ground. Special guest appearance by Russia Dog. She is so jealous of the attention I'm giving you guys and the tarantulas right now, but we're gonna make her feel better about that. Head scratch. Yep, okay. So that is one of my favorite tarantulas that I have. Definitely not one you handle. Old World, just absolutely avoid handling. But as far as Old World goes, this is actually a much slower species of tarantula, which I appreciate. I don't like speed. It's scary. It's intimidating. Love this guy. Okay, so sadly, this is another box of dirt. This is home to that little hole right there is where it ran into. But this is home to my Ephibopas marinus skeleton-like tarantula, and it's a spiderling, very small. This is a phosphorial, just like the one you saw previously. Also Old World, very fast. Very small though. Man, you really went in there, dude. So yeah, another fun box of dirt. This one does like to be out, but it's very hard to film it through the plastic here so we can get a good shot. There is some footage of this little cutie pie on my Instagram if you guys wanted to check that out. Really, there's a lot more footage of tarantulas on my Instagram, but I do like being able to talk about them. I don't spend a lot of time talking about them on my Instagram videos. So yeah, this is my fossorial skeleton leg baby. Very cool species of tarantula, especially the changes they go through. Right now, this guy has a fluorescent green butt, and then when they're adults, they look nothing like they do right now. That's the case with a lot of these tarantulas. As spiderlings, they can look drastically different than their adult form. All right, I know you're not supposed to pick favorites, but this right here is my favorite tarantula I own currently. This one just molted, so you're seeing those really pretty red pink hues on the fuzz there. Oh, that's a good focus. We love that. So the scientific name for this one is the Brachypelma classy. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of brachypelmas. I have quite a few of them, but this one is by far my favorite. The common name for this is Mexican pink leg tarantula. Big fan of pink, big fan of the way that this tarantula looks. We are freshly molted. I'm going to wait a few days before offering this pretty girl, boy, we don't know yet, food. But I will also be trying to see if I can tell if this is a boy or a girl from the molt that it gave me. So you're getting a good little glimpse of some pink fuzz. Okay, so this is my most famous tarantula. You're not gonna really get a good glimpse of it. It's down in that hole, as you can see. This is the enclosure. This tarantula got to fly first class on a plane with me from Iowa all the way to Texas. Very cool, fun story. I even had the TSA agent want to hold it, and I obliged, and she held the tarantula before I did. Very freaking cool. Unexpected. Went to a reptile store up in Iowa, could not believe that they had this species. It's a very popular one. I'm about to show you instead of saying the scientific name. Yep, there we are, and that below it is the common name. Once again, the theme, pink. We love pink. These guys are by far one of the friendliest species of tarantulas out there, and so handling is definitely not as scary with this species as the other ones. I actually did end up holding this tarantula when I put it into its enclosure. So, not very commonly found. That's why I grabbed this one. That's why we had such a cool adventure. All right, so this tarantula is hot and ready. Not like the pizza, because it's a tarantula. Bad joke. Anyways, this is another Brachypelma. Shocker, shocker, shocker. This sweet tarantula is a prime example of why it is so important to have scientific names on tarantulas at expos. I was thrilled, jumping for joy, thought I got a Brachypelma classy because I had not owned one before, and I saw that pink fuzz and thought, oh boy, this is a Brachypelma classy. No, actually this is a Brachypelma emilia, just as cool, just as beautiful, not as rare. But I absolutely love this tarantula. She is staying, even though there was a moment there where she was completely misidentified. And it's really important to know what species of tarantula you have. As you can kind of see here, not super duper well, her carapace, which is not her thorax, not the bum area, the carapace, which is further up, it is a tan color. The Brachypelma classy has a black carapace, and the bum is also a different color. So the leg banding is another thing that you can do to identify these tarantulas and tell the difference. It is a learning curve. It's something that takes, you know, everybody a different time period to be able to identify and catch these things. I'm absolutely still learning. I've only been in this hobby since November. So was I still happy about my purchase? Yes. I'm glad that I learned it was not a classy and I was able to get a classy shortly after. But yeah, it's very important to know your scientific names. This is the prime reason you cannot go off of common names. This tarantula was labeled Mexican pink leg tarantula. So of course I inferred, hey, it's a classy. No, it's Amelia. So fun fact, lesson learned. There we go. Okay, last but not least is my tiniest tarantula. Here's my hand for reference. We are a heavy webbing species. We are hiding in our little hole. You guys are not gonna be able to really see this tarantula. I rarely get to see this tarantula. It's about the size of my pinky nail, if that, maybe even smaller. But it's really fun being able to grow teeny tiny tarantulas into the size as adults. It's very rewarding, takes time, takes patience, but this one's gonna be really cool to watch grow. All right, guys, well, that's most of the tarantulas that I own. There's some that were a little camera shy today and some we just did not go over, but majority, that was a good chunk. I'm exhausted. I'm sure you're exhausted. Hope you learned something about tarantulas today that sparked your interest, made them a little less scary. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments because I love answering your questions on tarantulas. I really can't wait to dive deep in some of the topics that we touched on. There's more content to come. There's always more to learn about most of the animals that, you know, you keep in your care, and that's kind of my goal, is to always keep learning and keep educating myself. That is the best way to overcome a fear. Now, once again, I have 32 tarantulas. Definitely don't recommend you diving in and jumping into 32 tarantulas in a short time frame, but this is an addicting hobby. They are like potato chips, you just can't get enough, and I definitely love keeping tarantulas and learning about them. So until next time, you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.